Hey, okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep a log of how I'm working on Notion for this particular um, story that I'm writing. It's called Biosphere. And that way, I guess I can show you in a demonstrate a little bit better exactly what the process is and how this template I'm using is working. So I still have, and I have changed something. I still have the scene collection. So if you recall, I started off at Melanote for my brainstorming session, and then I did a lot of other things, and I'm finally settling down, I think, on this template. And what this template does is it brings in, so it, I thought what I would have on this template is all the plot points, but it's turning out to become a chapter drafting section for me instead. So essentially, this is the alternate version of chapter 2. I did the first version here, but then I'm not I'm not too keen on what is happening for the first section of it. So I did an alternate, which is this. And it's basically the entire draft, and I keep going through it every once in a while and just editing and adding new stuff. And right now, the way I write, it does oscillate between planning and drafting. And right now, I'm stuck again, still on chapter 2, just because there are so many things that I have to put in that's kind of like a foreshadowing of what's going to happen later. And I have the added challenge of having to post this on GUI.com, and I always feel like I can't update it after, even though I have stated clearly that this is subject to change. So the reason why you might think that, okay, so why post it anyways? Because it's motivating me to actually go ahead and have some progress on it. So right now I feel the pressure of putting out a chapter, whereas if it was just left to my own devices and I don't post it anywhere, then there's no reason for me to progress further, really. Which is sad, but yeah, that's just how my brain works. So I could just be noodling away and just doing the outlines and everything and planning forever if I don't have a set deadline for getting this out. So because I have placed an artificial deadline on myself to post this to GUI.com chapter by chapter, then I feel obligated to do it. So I feel obligated to progress. So initially, what I thought this would become, this scene collection, was going to be a list of scenes. And the thing is, because everything is so fuzzy still, and I'm still planning things, I'm still moving things around a lot, this straight line down is not working for me when I thought it would, because for some reason, I'm not sure why, it's just not working for me. And I don't want this to have this balloon into something that's a huge list that's not going to, I guess it'll be too much for me to process all at once. So what I realized is that I'm actually just using it for chapter drafting. So what I'm going to have this be instead is just going to be the draft of drafting process for the book. Everything else will still remain the same. So essentially how I planned on having just the tags and everything. And as you can see, like I've added a bunch of tags for this because these are all the things that I have to keep track of for chapter 2. Okay, there's 3 other codes. I guess you can have a better idea by looking here. So I have the details set up. And in case anyone's wondering, so I'm gonna do full page just so we can get a better look at it. And there's so much going on. That's why I figured I'm just gonna do a log of my progress, so then you could see every little thing that comes up. So for example, like I have the word count here and I have the read time here, which is so fantastic. Before, I remember Notion didn't have this option where you can bring in the details, and how you customize that is this way. So this you can customize the page by bringing in the word count, which is, this is manual, unfortunately, so I'll show you how to look that up in case you're not aware, but you'll have to type this in manually, and then it will calculate I used a formula to help me calculate the read time for it, and usually it's the average read time for anyone is 250 words per minute, and that's why I just use this formula. It's very simple. You take the word count property and then you divide it by 250 to get the read count. So that's there, and then I've added the tags on this side so that while I'm drafting, it stays in place and I can add the tags as I work. So I'll show you how that works. So that's the background after you bring that in. And you can have it show detail like this, or you can have it show detail like this. And then you could just add to it as you go along. So while I'm looking at something or while I'm thinking about something and I think, okay, I need to keep track of this, then, or I need to like, I won't remember this little detail, then that's when I put this as a tag. I don't put something that I already know the information for, as I mentioned earlier. So the tags only serve as little pins for anything that I just need to recall, which I don't think I can recall in the future, or I will be able to recall in the future. So this is just a reminder to myself that this is what happened here. So I don't follow it religiously, but because there's so much coming through for chapter 2, I am putting most of the stuff here. And the reason why I bring that up is because I wanted to bring up how I'm going to manage it now. So I did, you can do it as you go along. So for example, if you create a tag on one of the chapters, let's go back. So if you create a tag here, then you can definitely modify it right within the drafting section and just say, so update the type and then classify it in, I don't have the technology. Okay, so this is a good opportunity to show how to create the link up to the database. Okay, so I'm just creating a link related to a database. So I'm going to put two-way relation, and I'm going to keep this as tags, add relation. Since this is the weaponry item, I'm going to add darts. Okay, great. The weaponry item is already there. So this now, because I've added it here, it will appear on the story Bible, or what I call the encyclopedia, which is here on this database. It's a related database. So on this database, then after we see this here, sorry, it's frozen. After we see this here, we can have it, I know where it first shows up. So I'm just going to add it to that, AFR. Oops. Well, it does show up there actually, so I'm just going to keep that there. I know the Labrador shows up there. No, okay. I'm just going to copy, Control-C to copy, and bring it all in, because I know all of these appear in the AFR scene, or really it's basically a type of device. But yeah, you could just link things up that way. And the point of the tags was, again, just to quickly put a pin on things as it appears in the story, and just have it here. And then every once in a while, just go in and update the related databases, which basically goes, it basically makes up the Bible of the story. So, or what I call the encyclopedia. And or I can just do it as I go along, but I would rather not. Like, so if I'm drafting, I just want to, I don't want to be distracted too much by creating links. So I just keep something there just as an anchor or a reminder that, okay, I have to link this up later. And then every once in a while, if I feel like it, I'll go in and I'll update this. Like, for example, Paxi and Cade, the characters, they reference characters. So it'll be Paxi and Cade here. And then I just added a bunch of stuff here. I did, some of them I did link up as I went along. Like, for example, the raw material on Dallas, I brought it in here. I identified the location, and I've added it to the lore and discoveries one. So certain items like, so the Sulk is an animal, so I put it in the fauna and flora database, and the default is like the butterfly icon, but I do, for plants, I would switch it to the leaf if that's what you would like to do. And then yeah, so that's one other thing. So that's one process that I'm doing. But the second one is that because I didn't want it to be too bloated on the drafting database, where I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have the chapters here, and maybe I'll link it to the outline database later, maybe not. But for now, the outline database is like this. And what I'm doing is, my plan is to bring in the notes across everything from like Milanote and my other outlines that I made everywhere else. So what that's going to be my task. But I just wanted to show you this because I realized that Notion now lets us use the AI summary feature. I haven't hit the limit yet. I think there's a limit, and it's right now it's for free. And I wanted to say like how much has helped. The fact that I don't have to summarize these. This is kind of like how Scrivener works, except I don't know if Scrivener was ever updated to with AI to like auto-populate the summary of it, or if you have to still manually do the summary. Manual summaries really kill me because I'm so much better. I'm very verbose, so I ramble on if you couldn't tell, and so it's hard for me to like succinctly summarize what's going on in a certain piece of information, note card or file or whatever have you. So the fact that the AI can just do it for you, that's like godsend. And so I really wanted to show how to have that appear here. And in the past, I've had issues with, like, let's say having like this still looking really messy, and I didn't have all the information that I really needed to show right away. And I want to show you how now I figured out a way to make that possible. Also, thanks to Notion's AI for with the help on how to, like, creating the formulas and everything, that helped a lot. So I just wanted to give you an idea of what's going on. So, or I'm hoping this can help somebody. So what I've done is the usual. So same thing with the drafting section. For some reason, my brain just works like this. So I'll have like a background section, and then the beginning of the beginning, and then the middle of the beginning, and then the end of the beginning. And I do it like that because it seems silly to me, and so I don't feel so pressured to have it be like perfectly aligned with any one plot structure. But I have gone around, so that category has remained on this beginning, middle of beginning, etc., end of beginning. But I have put in some note cards that kind of give you an idea of around about what you can expect in there, like in official terms. So, like, for example, in the beginning of the beginning, you're gonna have like the hook or the inciting incident show up, and or the world, and or a taste of what's to come in the story. So for me, I chose a taste of what's to come in the story. And so I jumped from like doing the setup of everything and jump straight into the hook, I guess, or the inciting incident. So as you can tell, like, I don't really follow any one structure very well, but I did put in notes for myself that if I wanted to, that I could include some of this. So I'm not going to include it, but if I don't want to, but it's there for me if I'm running out of ideas and I need to know some other possibilities or that could go here. So anyways, so what I'm doing here is basically, this is the layout is gallery, and I placed the card side as medium. Anything less than that would be too little for me, and a card preview as none. Load limit is 25 for now. And the type of properties I have are as follows, all of this. And I would suggest not building out like everything. I would suggest building in whatever, only what you need. So initially I started off with a gallery template. So it was basically just a simple gallery template, and I would start writing, and then I realized I want a summary of whatever I put in there. And so what I did is that I added the AI summary feature, which is basically if you edit properties, new property, summarize, and then I put paragraph. And in order to set that up, I need to add an updated field. So and what that is new property, created time, and I just changed the name to updated. And why that's required is because if you go in here, and go into this, I chose basic, translate, summarize, and then I did on any new page that's created within this database, so any new page created within this database, and then on page update of, so tick this off, so toggle it on when page content is edited, and only specific properties, and I selected updated. That's why I put the updated one in here, just to notify the AI that this page has been updated, and so new summary is required, and that's it. And once that's done, I didn't like how it was just a block of text, and I didn't know what that text referred to because Notion doesn't indicate the heading for it or the field name. So I needed something to stand out to tell me that, okay, this is the summary, because I was going to have some other notes related to it elsewhere. So the way that I could do that was by creating a formula. So using the formula property, so new property, use formula, and then you can type in whatever you need. And I just basically typed in if there is content appearing in the summary field. So it was like this. So if there is content appearing in the summary field, please show summary, colon, apostrophe, and then in bold and yellow background. And then just press this, and then it'll automatically generate the formula for you. And then once it does, you can just click out of it and see if it works the way you want it to work. And then if it doesn't, then you'll have to play around with it a little bit, and then yeah, but for the most part it works. And once that came in, I also asked it to bring in the actual summary that the AI generates, because I'm not going to be modifying that field, so I don't need it to be on a separate line. All this is just automated, and all I needed was it to clearly tell me that this is a summary. And then what I did was, I need to keep like different notes for myself. Again, I don't add things unless I absolutely need it. So I started off with the basic, and then I realized, okay, I'm going to need it for this. So that's when I started putting things in as I needed it. So if you don't need it, you don't have to put it in. And the reason why, I know that sounds basic, but the reason why I'm mentioning it is because I used to create like full structures and then later think back on why did I create this in the first place? Like I barely use it. And I just created it in the beginning because I thought I would need it. But it's better if you just create it as you go along and as the need arises. So anyways, for this one, for this notes section, it's kind of the same concept. So all I did was edit properties, new property text, and then I would change the title to notes, and then I created a formula one for the notes heading, and then same drill. I would go in, I would type in, if notes is not blank, then please provide notes with a colon in bold on brown background. And after a while, after you start reading this, like seeing the formulas it generates, you kind of gain an understanding of how to create the formulas on your own. But for sure, when you first start off, it's so much nicer to have this to help out. You just explain what you need, and then it just gives it for you, and it helps you learn as you go along as well. So anyways, that's what I did, and then I brought that property in on top of the notes heading, and then I would have the notes appear on the bottom, so it looks like this with notes highlighted in brown, and then the notes indicated here. And then what else did I need? Okay, so I wanted these instructional ones to be a different color. So what I did is I brought in, I created a property for color code, and I said this is going to be the info one. I didn't put anything else in there. If I need it, I'll put it in, but for now, this is all it's used for. And then once that's set, once that property was created, I went into conditional color, and I said add another, and color code is not empty, and then match option. And it brings in the exact option color. So if this was pink, it would bring in pink. So pink, see how everything turned to pink? But I would like it for it to be purple, turn back to purple. Great, and we're good to go. And then two more things I just wanted to show you. So sub items. So this helps me for certain things where, for example, I don't know where some of these scenes would go, but I know I have a summary here, but I want a quick look at like, okay, this is the scene that's happening. So yeah, the summary is there, but I want something that distinguishes each different scene. So I created a sub item, a sub note for it, and that helps me see, okay, this is one scene, this is another scene quickly, and it tells me what's going on in there quickly. So I really wanted something like that, and so it's the same concept, except for the sub items, you're going to have to turn on more settings. No, I think there was a sub item option that you have to turn on, and yeah, maybe I'll do a proper run through of how to build it on a separate video. But yeah, you would turn that on, and then this concept for the heading and the coloring of the heading, same thing, essentially, it's by a formula. So sub item heading formula. Same thing for the related heading. I would have a related item. So for example, it's not a sub item, but it is related to another scene. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, here. So it is related to another scene, and it really helped me to have it as a different color as well. It pops out at you. So it's related to another scene. It's not a sub scene, but it's connected because this causes this. And there's something that I don't know about what's happening here that will cause something to happen here. So I wrote a note to myself that something major has to happen here for this to occur. So yeah, and I don't know what it is going to be exactly. And so I also wanted to put that note here that, you know, this is related to this, and I know it's one after another, but maybe there's other scenes that's going to happen in between. So I need that connection to remain, that I need something to happen here, like something serious to happen here for the thing that I want to happen here to actually happen, to be able to happen. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, that's how my brain works. So it helps me to like stay organized in this way when I'm probably not making any sense. But yeah, this, I don't know, this note card method really help me out. Well, let me just show you. I'm just thinking about what other thing I have to show you before I end the video. Oh, okay. So this was by sequence, but I'm not using this yet because things are still out of whack. So the purpose of that was to have every scene kind of align, like, okay, this is 1, this is 2, 3, etc. But I'm not using that yet. It's there for me in case I need to use it in the future, or I might just delete it. Oh, and this is for me when I'm looking at it on my phone because it helps me to like refresh my memory every once in a while of what's going on, I feel anyways, because that's why it's everything squished, so it looks okay on my phone. Because sometimes I'm forgetting things, and then I question myself, and I feel like if I could have it easy for me to read while I'm on my phone, then I could just read it every once in a while, and that way I'll be ready for drafting sessions. And yeah, that's how I'm doing everything. Sorry, I know it's probably like a little bit out of whack how I explained everything. Maybe on the next video, I will do a walkthrough of how I actually set this up. Hopefully that will help. But I think this is the easiest way for me to communicate it, just to give you a log of how I'm writing as I'm writing it. Hope it helped anyways.